Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. In this video, I will explain about how to pass request address in Spring Boot MVC or REST. MVC stands for Model View Controller and REST stands for Representational State Transfer. It is a part 1 video. In this part 1 video, I will discuss about at request header. In part 2 video, I will discuss about HTTP servlet request. Both are used to pass request headers. So let's get started. So for this video, I am using student app. This student app we are developed in this JUnit playlist. I will provide this JUnit playlist in description of this video. If you want to know how I am developing this student app, these many packages, then it is recommended to watch. If you want to know, I am going student controller. So I am adding one request header. Yet are at the rate of request control space request header. So key I am passing x student key. Check the spelling x student key string student key colon comma. See here, this is the request header. This is the request header. This is the key reference variable. If reference variable as a key, then it is optional. Like if I am considering like a this is a request, this is a field, right? Reference variable. If I am considering like a reference field, reference variable as a key, then it is optional. Like if reference variable and key is different, then we need to mention here key. Now this is a key, request header key. This is a reference variable to pass some data, right? Request headers and cookies are used for security purpose. So control S, run this application, right click, run as Spring Boot app. Once up and running, then we can try to hit this endpoint. Here endpoint is student save student endpoint. It is expecting request header and request body. This is one header is expecting, one body is expecting. First, I will not pass this request header. Let's see what will happen. Then we can, if any errors are getting, then we can pass. This is the student app collection we have created in previous videos, JUnit playlist. In that JUnit playlist we are created. So see, this is the request body. I'm changing ID to 992. It is a unique ID. So headers, request header, one header is there, but I am not passing, I'm just passing body. Let's see what will happen. Now it is up and running our application. Send the request. Here we are getting some error, internal server error. Message error status timestamp. It is a where configured global exception handler. So go to com.in.controller. Like we are saying, if student not found exception is raised, we are saying call this method get student not found method. If other than student not found exception is called, then we are saying call this internal server error. So all exceptions, root class of all exceptions is exception, right? That's why it is calling. So we are sending response like here. This is the message error status timestamp. We are getting message error status timestamp internal server error. So it is calling this controller address method, right? So it is saying, let's see, required request header x student key for method parameter type string is not present. That means it is mandatory field we need to pass. So I am changing to false. By default required equal to true is there. So I am passing to false. So comma required equal to, by default it is a true, by default true. Now I am changing to false. Control S, stop this server, go to starter class, right click, run as student app. Meanwhile, open our database, SQL plus for tiger. My password will expire within 7 days. I will update. So set pages 10000 semicolon, set lines 10000 semicolon, select star from student, select star from student semicolon. Here 990 is there, but 1991 record is not there. So this Spring Boot application is up and running. I will try to save one record 992. Suppose 992. This time we are making request header as false. So that is we are saying that is request header is optional to pass. So I'm sending the request. Here student saved successfully ID 992. So let's check in database. Correct star from student 992. It is saved, right? So again, I am changing to required is false, right? By default, it is true. So I am added a request header. So now I will add one if condition to check it is empty or null. Suppose if it is empty or null, now I am saying throw one exception. Suppose if string utils dot is empty student key. Then I am saying throw new. I will create one exception. Student key not found exception. Go to com.a exception package copy student not found exception copy paste student not found exception copy paste change the name instead of student not found exception student key not found. Okay, open here student key not found exception. See, it is a student not key not found exception extends runtime exception. This is one field is there. We are using all our constructor setter and getter. So copy this method student not found exception throw new. I'm saying throw this exception. Where added, right? All our constructor one parameter is there, right? So add one request header missing request header missing request header missing if string utils dot is empty then we are saying throw this control as throw new student key not found exception. Cut this one. We need to pass this one here. Control shift O. Control shift O for import. See, it is deprecated. Let's go to there any alternatives. I'm checking is empty. It is giving student details. So replace with student details. It is giving here object details. Replace with object details. Control V. Control shift O for imports. org dot spring framework dot details. So now deprecated error gone, right? So like if request header is empty. Empty means it is checking null or empty. It is checking both null or empty. Null or empty. If null or empty, then we are saying throw this exception. Controllers stop the server. Now also will not pass request header. Let's see what will happen. After that, I will add request header. Run a Springboard app. Once up and running this Springboard app, I will send request through Postman without request header. Request headers and cookies are used for security purpose. So security purpose, these request headers are passing in our Springboard REST controller methods. REST controller methods we can also call as handler methods, right? So I'm hitting the request. I am not passing. So this key request header I'm not passing. Just I am passing body. I'm changing ID to 993 because ID is a unique. Send the request. Here we are getting internal server error. This is a default exception format. We are mention this format in controller and right. This is called internal server error. This is called right. Suppose I am passing key. This is the key, right? Control C, Control V, send. So X student key, right? X student key. If I am passing this X student key also, we are getting 500 internal server error. Go to student controller. Here X student key. If this student key is null or empty, we are saying throw this exception, right? Student key not found exception. X student key. So go to Postman. X student key. Suppose I am passing the value. Then what will happen? Suppose this is the X student key. I'm sending the request. Here again we are getting. So let's stop this rerun. Maybe I am not rerun. That's why it is behaving like that. Right click. run a Spring Boot app. So I am deleting this header. Once up and running, then we can, without header, I can run up. After that, I can add header with empty or null. After that, I can pass actual value. I can check these scenarios. Now Spring Boot application up and running. Without header, I am sending. So we are getting the 500. So I am adding now X student key. I am passing key. I am sending again. See here. Now it is calling request header missing. Request header missing. We are getting 500. But it is like if any field is missing, I want to raise exception like bad request, but it is calling default exception. Internal server error. This is our message. Request header missing. It is calling this. It is empty, right? Empty or null. So it is calling student key not found. Request header missing. It is calling. But I want 400. For that, go to controller advanced. Stop the server. So I am copying this. Control C. I'm adding another controller advanced method. Student key not found. This is also key. Here also key. Control Shift O for imports. Instead of not found, change to bad request. Bad request is a 400. Bad request is a 400. Controller. See here in student controller, if it is student key is null or empty, we are saying throw this exception. This is message. This message. This message we are setting to here and error status and timestamp we are passing HTTP status dot bad request dot value. This is a timestamp, right? Now let's run our Spring Boot application. Run as Spring Boot app. So this time we will pass the key, but value will be empty. Value we are not passing. Let's see what will happen. It will be raised our created exception. This is the controller advanced method or not. This method or not. Bad request. It will raise bad request or not. So I am sending the request. Send. See here we are getting bad request, right? So I'm changing this value to 993, right? Let's check database is there 993. If not there, then 993 is not there. It's okay. Now I am passing the so header value as well. Now I am passing header value. See headers, our header is not showing right here. So header X student key. So this is a X student key. Look like I'm sending the request. Now I am passing header value as well. Send the request. See student saved successfully. So let's check 993 is there or not. Select star from student 993 is there, right? So if this X student key is empty or not, then we are said so the exception error like bad request, like request parameter here, request header missing like that. So this is we are passing request header to request, request header to request, but in response it is not showing any header, right? So I want to add this header in response as well. For that, I will use HTTP headers, HTTP headers or the Spring Framework headers, headers equal to new HTTP headers, headers, headers dot set. This is the header name, header value like key value set, right? Key value. So value this student key. We are getting this from the student key. We are getting from the Postman right now. This is the key. So this is the key, right? So copy this key. X student key. Control C. Paste here. Control. So stop this server. Rerun. Go to starter. Right click. Run as Spring Boot app. Next video we will use DevTools to auto restart. Every time I am restarting, right? Instead of it will auto restart. If we are using DevTools dependency. DevTools starter. So now our Spring Boot application is up and running. Change the ID value to 994. Now I want to check here new header is adding or not. So see in student controller we are added headers, we are set one header, but we are not passed here. We need to pass this is a response entity, right? Two parameter constructor, we need to pass another parameter like headers. Now stop the server and rerun. Now we are passing the headers in response entity string, right? We are passing headers in response. Let's see, it is headers are appearing or not. Now I am running Spring Boot application. Once up and running, then I can check this header is appearing in response or not. So we are doing now request header, adding in Angular methods. See, like save save student is there, right? It is a Angular method or controller method or Rust controller method like that. So once up and running our student app, now hit 994, right? Header also we are passed. If this header is empty or null, then we are getting 400 bad request header, we are getting request header missing, right? Send. See, student saved successfully 994. So headers, go to headers. See, X student key. This is the header. Previously, this X student key is not there. This is the most important. Remember, this X student key previously is not there. Just now we are added into response. In response, we are just now added, right? Just now we are added. See this key and this is duplicate, right? Instead of this, add one constant file and move this key to constants. So for that, I'm creating new package. See here, now I'm adding another package. Right click, new class, student constants, com.in dot constants. So it is a final class finish. So then add one final field, public, static, final. This is static and final, right? So all this key, this field name must be capital. Student key equal to, so go to controller, copy this name, X student key, control C. So go to student constants, paste here, semicolon, control S, copy the student constant class, control C. Go to student controller, maximize, value right. This is the class name dot student key. Student key. If you want to, you can use like a student underscore key as well. It is right. So change to student underscore key. Again, replace here student constant dot student key controllers. In this video, we have successfully added a request header and we are also changed is required equal to true or false also we are verified. So we are checking this request header is null or empty by using object utils dot is empty. If it is null or empty, we are saying throw this exception and we are added one global exception handler. In that one method we are added if student key not found exception is raised, this student key not found exception is raised, like we are saying raise one bad request. Same message we are setting status code and timestamp. Here we are message passing a request header missing same. So I want to display this request header in response as well. For that I'm created HTTP headers object and I'm setting this header request header to HTTP headers I am passing to response, right? So let's run this application and let's add another object, student object. Now I am running this application. Once up and running, I will add another student object as well. So where sometime once up and running this Spring Boot application, we will add another student as well in database. So now up and running, let's go change the 994, right? 995. See, header I am passed. So I am giving like this headers. X student key one header is there in save student method. So handler method or method. So I am sending the request. If successfully executed this request, we will get student save successful ID 995. Sending request. So here we are getting 995 created because we are sending response code as well 201. We go to our student controller, we are passing for this method created is nothing but 201, right? Let's check JNU test cases. JNU test cases are any JNU test case is affected or not due to we are adding the header. Due to we are adding the header, any JNU test cases are affected or not. So src test java com.in.controller student controller test maximize right click run as JUnit test. Now test cases are executing once all test cases are running in this controller. If any test cases fail, then we will try to fix. We are getting the 500. So these are the failed. The test save student failed. It is throwing the, it is expected 200, but it was 500. Remember, previously we are not passed X student key. That time we are getting the 500, right? So let's go to this method. So this is the save student. We need to pass address here. There is no address, right? We need to pass address to resolve the header string name object values. So use the constant, this constant constant dot student key. This is the header key value. I'm passing something like this. Control S. Now again right click run as JUnit test. Let's say this time this error is all test cases will be executed or not. If all test cases are executed, we will get tick mark here. So let's wait until these test cases are completed. See, we are getting the tick mark. So all test cases are passed. So in this video, we are successfully understand how to pass request adders in Spring Boot MVCR REST. In this video, we are using only REST. So we are not using model U controller we are using, but model use are not used. So how to pass request adders in Spring Boot REST by using at request adder. We are successfully understand. Next video, I will explain how to use HTTP server request to pass adders. Thank you for watching. It is a part 1 of request address video. For more videos, please subscribe to this YouTube channel.